guys? Asian here again. Some of you guys asked for more Final Fantasy 14 content, and you guys liked the sort of, I guess, the reaction video. So I figured I'd do something, a reaction video on something a little bit more Final Fantasy 14, and also a little bit more lighthearted. Uh, Prep guide to Final Fantasy 14 DPS. I actually haven't seen this one yet. I've seen his tank and healer ones, as well as all of his crap guides to Monster Hunter and what's the other thing he did? D&D. So this is a JoCat who's a fantastic content creator. He's great. This sort of Joe Crap personality he's created is really good. He's just perfected it over the years. So yeah, this should be a good watch. If it's anything like his other crap guys, it should definitely be great to watch. And he always starts off with this disclaimer because people get all butthurt about shit he says, and they don't realize it's just a joke. So yeah, see what DPS is.
Everybody likes to do damage, and don't pretend like you don't, because I know
Oh
you're
yeah,
lying.
I
Otherwise,
like
why would
I
you be
like
playing an
damage.
RPG with core mechanics such as leveling up, getting stronger, and looking
Hold
fashionable as
on.
fuck?
Hold on, wait a second. I just realized my desktop audio is still down a little bit. Actually, I should keep it down a little bit. I'll put it up a little bit so you hear it better, but I don't want it to be too loud, so I can talk over it in case I don't want to
Everybody likes to
pause.
do damage, and don't pretend like you don't, because I know you're lying. Otherwise, why would you be playing an RPG with core mechanics such as leveling up, getting stronger, and looking fashionable as fuck? It's to do massive numbers on the other guys until
Yeah,
their numbers are so
yeah,
small they match the PP size of anybody who doesn't.
yeah. Hold on. And yeah, I typically commend based on if somebody's helpful. I don't always automatically commend. I know I'm not I'm like the third guy half the time who don't commend people because it's just sometimes I'm not impressed. I feel like commendation shouldn't be necessarily be handed out like candy. I think you gotta kind of deserve it. Usually it'll go towards the healer or the tank. Um, Sometimes it'll be to the DPS. I have given comms to DPS before for like doing a really good job, especially red mages and like alliance raids where they're like chain resing a lot of people. I always give comms to red mages if they're doing that, or summoners. But yeah, big PP damage, please.
Commend at the end of a duty. The other members leaving too quickly is no excuse. How do you expect to move quick enough to avoid AoEs if you can't even move quick enough to tell your allies they're doing a great job and that their glamour is sexy? Is that uncharacteristically nice of me? Maybe, but it means I get to steal the LB3 from the only melee in the group. Welcome to a great guy's
Eighth
Final Fantasy.
Umbral Wiggly. I don't know what that would look like. The Wiggler comes from Monster Hunter. He started a series in Monster Hunter, so that's kind of where his glam in the intro comes
You
from.
thought only the DPS have the DPS? Boy, I could slap you with my overflowing glamour dresser. Damage is the name of the game in
420
Final
out of
Fantasy 14,
400.
and the entirety of the game is designed around everybody dealing it, including the tank.
So yes, the whole everybody's DPS is a thing, and you kind of see it too. Yeah, so is the other MMO that I've played for a long time. RuneScape I played, but that doesn't really count because RuneScape doesn't really have dedicated. At least back when I played, didn't have dedicated healer tank DPS roles. It was more of a you can do everything and as one character sort of role. But yeah, Final Fantasy is very much a everybody does DPS. The joke is, the game is split up into three roles: red DPS, green DPS, and blue DPS. So yes, DPS is very important for everybody.
Tanks and the healers. If the DPS roles are contributing 60% of the damage, tanks and healers are the ones who fill
Yep,
in the other 40.
that
So if
that
you
is
don't
that is pretty
contribute, you
good.
belong in the garbage chute. So don't get so hung up on the role
I like that
names.
rhyme.
Everybody is a DPS. What I mean specifically is that one, not only is FF14 a cooperative game, which means anytime you waste is not only yours but also anybody else in your party as well. And two, every combat feature in FF
That pisses me off a lot. I think it pisses me off more than it should. That sometimes in like leveling roulettes where you get a healer or it's mostly healers. So there's not really much tanks, but even for tanks, like if healers aren't using like glare or broil or whatever their DPS skill is, malefic, it slows. You can tell it slows down the run immensely. There was one Mount Golg I was in earlier. I think it was like 2 or 3 days ago, where like it took us literally like 45 minutes to finish the dungeon. Mount Golg is definitely something that it is one of the longer dungeons for sure, because it's one of the capstone dungeons, 79 dungeon. But like it shouldn't take. It's not like 45, 50 minutes long. It like maybe half an hour if if you have deaths and stuff. But like yeah, it's a little annoying when healers and tanks aren't using their DPS skills.
FF14 is designed with dealing damage in mind. Healers and tanks get skills that actively promote
I
doing more
love his illustrations. His illustrations are absolutely fantastic.
DPS. Hell, Sage is a healer whose skills actively benefit from doing
Oh,
DPS.
wait. Gotta go back. Gotta see what his little. So we already know what the Sage abilities are. There were the Mediator kind of gave us a good look at the Sage abilities. Let's see. Cardia is the one make somebody a heal buddy. Yeah, that's sort of like Dan's partner except for Sage. Except of increasing damage, basically heal them whenever you deal damage. And yeah, basically the Sage's idea is like you slap Cardia onto somebody, it's probably gonna be the tank or somebody, and then every time you deal damage with your abilities, you'll end up healing your Cardia partner. So like Dysprasia, Phlegma. That's I just noticed it's Phlegma balls. That's not the actual ability name. He just changed it to Phlegma balls. Oh boy, this is why I love him. He like does these little things that like you kind of have to pause the video to catch, and you watch it 2 or 3 times before you catch a joke or something. But yeah, this is pretty much Sage. It's like you pick your tank, and you do your DPS, and that's healing your tank. It should be a fun time. I'm looking forward to playing
most
Sage.
importantly of all, enrage. Enrage is what happens when you
Ah,
overstay your
yes,
welcome in a dungeon or
enrage.
boss arena, and the residents have run
That
out of
doesn't
things
exist
to
in
talk about and are
ESO.
just really ready
Well,
for you
I
to
shouldn't
leave
say it
so they
doesn't
can finally go
exist,
poop without
but
being worried that you're gonna
it's
steal
really
all their
really
old
hard to
dream
enrage in
orchid
ESO.
That is to say, you're either forcefully kicked out or alternatively they instantly murder you. How do you prevent this from happening? You murder them first, of course, and then you pop in a copy of Shrek 2 so you can watch the castle siege again. And guess
Oh,
what?
the castle
Later and
siege,
later in
that's
the
such
game,
a
you
good
get some more and
scene.
more
Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can figure out which one he's talking about here. This is obviously Omega. This is Alexander. Like how he's a trash can with pencils and a skirt. And this is, I'm guessing, Ifrit. Yeah, Ifrit, if you DPS too fast on extreme, he does shit. Alexander just has a straight up enrage, and Omega is just not a fun time.
frequent enrages start to appear. And they'll have more and more health too, so if somebody decides they just don't feel like they want to cooperate in this team game they decided to play, and now the boss has an eighth of its health left and is about to
Amazon
destroy
Prime.
the entire universe, Princess Fiona isn't going to be the only one who will need a hero. Hopefully it's been drilled into your head now that DPSing is essential, not just for the jobs with the title sticker, but also anyone in a fancy robe or edgy trench coat as well. Now that you know that, how does one go about dealing max deeps? The first most basic thing is to do your combos. Press a button. See another button light up? Press that one.
Oh yeah,
Congratulations, you have
combos.
successfully completed a combo. And doing so will reap a myriad of benefits, from putting damage over time on your target, gaining mana, doing your taxes, or any variety.
That's the other thing too. Like these videos, they say a crap guide, so you're expecting like shitty advice, but he actually gives up pretty good advice in these videos. It's the same thing with the healers and tanks, and in the D&D stuff too, and in Monster Hunter. I guess less so in Monster Hunter because he's still trying to find his stride. It is at the end of the day, it is a little bit satire, but like he does give out good advice. Like do your combos. That is key for DPS. If you're not doing your combos, you're pretty much just doing poo-poo damage.
Variety of other additional effects, but mostly it all achieves the same goal of dealing more damage. Secondly, you want to press these skills that the game labels as abilities and the community calls off global cooldowns, or OGCDs for short. More like OGCDs nuts. I personally call them
Oh
free damage
damn,
buttons.
he got
They
us
cost you
there.
nothing, and there's literally no reason not to press them while your normal cooldown is rolling. But this one has a long cooldown. What if I need it later? No, it doesn't. Shut up. The cooldowns in this game are so short you might as well press them because
I'm guilty of, especially when I'm learning a new class. I'm guilty of that because I'm not 100% sure what the best time to use certain abilities are. So if an ability has like a really long cooldown, sometimes I'll save it. It's a little bit more prevalent in perhaps in like Savages, where you might want to line up your buffs. So like Astro Divination, for example, you might want to line that up with Trick Attack and change Stratagem if you got a Scholar and so on. So there is some merit to holding on to your long cooldowns. The biggest example would be Dragoons holding on to your first Dragon Sight. To line it up better with buffs, because it takes a while for you to build up your first Dragon Sight.
Because by the time you need them again, whoop, they're back up. Not to mention, many jobs require you to press those free damage buttons to unlock even spankier damage buttons. So use your goddamn free damage buttons. It's free damage. The next rule of DPSing is knowing your ABCs. Always be casting. This means mashing away at your keyboard like a tickle monster.
Always be casting. If you're sitting around doing nothing, you ain't contributing anything.
Your global cooldown going, even if it means accidentally pressing the wrong skill, like the single brain cell that you are. Because if you're always pressing buttons, even the suboptimal one, you are doing more damage than if you weren't. And doing damage is always better than not doing damage.
This is just like light attack weave, your light attack ratio in ESO. You want to make sure to get that as high as you can, because if you're sitting and not doing anything, you ain't doing damage.
Yes, even Scathe.
No, we do not use Scathe. No. Scathe is no.
Here's a
Yeah.
live example with my two subjects, Jan and Chloe. They both deal 1 million damage and suddenly the boss flies out of melee range. Jan sits there waiting patiently for the boss to return before she can start doing a million damage
I hate
again.
that.
Meanwhile, Chloe's pressing the deal 1 damage at a range button the entire time they're waiting. I ask you, puny viewer, which person is dealing more damage right now? Yeah, but it's only 1 damage. Who's dealing more damage? As if any fight is going to get so close that dealing... Who is dealing more damage? Sure, it might not...
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little annoying if you main melee DPS, particularly Monk, because Monk has no ranged abilities. At least Samurai, I guess, yeah, Ninja has one. What's the other one? Monk. Monk doesn't have. Ninja has. Samurai has. Dragoon has. Yeah, so if you're a Monk, there's really nothing you can do except wait, try to greed and get out of the AoE before the snapshot happens. But yeah, he is right. Even if it is just like plinky damage, you're still doing damage. It's kind of the whole concept of like ABC, right? Or light attack weaving. You always want to get that ratio up as best you can. If you're missing global cooldowns, you ain't doing any
Look like
damage.
much, but it's going to matter when they fight the boss that has 3 million and 2 health and they wipe all because the other DPS
Alex Manderville.
It's such little DPS, it won't make a difference? Sure, Jan. Now, one of the best things you should do to improve your damage in Final Fantasy XIV is this. It's really simple. I want you to lean in. It's a super simple
Oh yeah,
thing. Here, come
whisper
close. I'm
sweet
gonna
nothings
say
into
the
my
thing.
ear,
Ready?
JoCat.
Okay, here it goes.
Whisper it.
Read your
Oh no, that's not
tooltips.
whispering.
A little block of text that literally tells you what your skills do.
Oh
Honestly,
boy,
you'd be
reading
surprised how many people
tooltips.
queue into an expert dungeon and never realize they have a skill that can attack multiple targets. Even all the things I tell you in this video, the combos.
Yeah, read your tooltips, people. It's important. It tells you everything your abilities do. It's really, really important, especially if you're boosters. Boosters kind of have this weird, or really controversial in Final Fantasy. Basically, you jump from 1 to 70 on a job, and the common opinion is like, oh, you jumped from 1 to 70, but you didn't read your tooltip, so you have no idea how to play a job. Haha, that sucks. Not everybody's like that. Some people boost on their alts, so they don't have to go through the grind with their alts and stuff like that. That's not very common though. But yeah, reading your tooltips is huge. Just knowing what your abilities do, especially like as you're leveling, because the game doesn't inherently tell you what your abilities do.
The range attacks, the AoE damage skills, the free damage buttons. The best way to know what your job is capable of is by reading your job skill tooltips yourself. So you better read your goddamn tooltips, because if I see another player not knowing about their AoE combo and a mob pull at level 80, I'm gonna grab the nearest etherite and bash you so hard you're gonna be teleported to the final resting place of every ERPer's used undergarments.
I mean, some people might
All
like
out of
that.
the way, you'd think
Some
I'd
people
covered
might like
everything you
that.
need to do to be an ultimate clearing badass, right? Unfortunately, not waffle face, because the final responsibility
Aw.
every single role in Final Fantasy
I think my
XIV
face is
shares
beautiful. Don't
not
call me a
dying.
waffle
Sure,
face.
the healers help, but most of the time your own survival is on you and only you. And that means making sure you do the fight mechanics
I
and don't take
guess.
avoidable damage like it's got the cheese.
Classic
I'm
DPS
sorry,
standing
are
in
you
red
middle
and
of your
blaming the
cast? You wanna
heals.
try and hit that purple parse like the big man you are? That's too damn bad! Each time
So Final Fantasy also has logs, just like ESO, and you get a color basically based on how well you parse compared to everybody else. Purple parses are the highest. Gray is the worst. I think green is after gray. I don't remember what the middle is, but yeah, purple parses are basically like you're top of the line, or you're very good.
you take damage that is avoidable, it means the healer has to heal you and they're dealing less damage. And on top of that, you get this cheese puff.
Ah,
called a
yes, the
vulnerability
Von
stack. For each
snacks.
stack you have, you take
Yum,
more
yum,
and more
yum,
damage
yum,
until
yum,
you get
Von
one shot when
snacks.
the enemy farts in your general direction. All this to say, if you don't avoid enemy damage, you will not only make the healer do less DPS, but you're also likely going to die, which means 0 DPS. And
Yep,
if you still
dying
think
is
that's not a
negative
big deal
DPS.
and the healers can just res you each time you
The down
die, you
healer's
get a
gotta
one
res
step
you.
of shame that reduces your DPS even more for about as long as a red light in Philadelphia. So you better stay alive or else I'm gonna raise you so I can rescue you into an AoE and kill you myself. To
Wait, I kind of want to use that as a raise macro. No, I shouldn't. That's really toxic. But I should.
recap, everybody's DPS matters. Press your free damage buttons. Always be casting. Read your tooltips. Stay alive. But even if you keep all those things in mind, the #1 rule to improve your DPS performance is to practice. Striking dummies are all
Yes,
over the
practice,
goddamn place,
practice,
out in the overworld, and
practice.
even in the yards of some random people's
That's been
houses
drilled
in
into me for
residential districts.
ESO,
So if
but
you see
it's
one, there's
just
no
as
shame in
relevant
whacking it a few
in
times
Final
like you're
Fantasy
auditioning
too.
to be a dominatrix. I'm sure the neighbors won't mind. Practice makes perfect, and even all the foresight in the world
That
will
is
not
the
fully
most
translate into
important
the
thing.
doing.
Even back in ESO, the biggest advice I could give anybody is to practice your rotation on a dummy. Find a guild that has a member with a house, even if it's just a 3 million damage dummy. You don't have to kill it. You just have to practice your rotation so you know what it looks like. If you can't do your rotation on a static target that's not hitting you back, there's no way in hell you're going to be able to do it in an actual fight where you have to avoid AoEs and do mechanics and all that stuff. So practicing is the biggest thing you can do to improve your DPS.
So go and do that doing so that one day you too can
Ah,
do the do and make everybody else look like doo-doo because of how good your
doo-doo.
doing skills are.
He
And
said
with how much
doo-doo.
doing you'll be doing, maybe someday you too can clear an ultimate
Wait, is he in this ultimate?
and
I
get a
don't see him.
shiny ass weapon of your own to show off to people AFK
Oh, I guess yeah, I guess he has cleared T then, if that's his character.
at the Limsa Aetherite Plaza. Just know the difference between an amateur and a master is that a master has failed way more times. By the
That is some
way,
deep
get ready for a
shit.
party wipe. Wait, what?
Oh,
Congratulations, you're now better at the game than you were 5 seconds ago.
yeah.
Oh. And now you know how to DPS, you're welcome.
There's...
Oh, finally, my Q just popped.
Wait, how long is this video? 6 minutes 23 in? That's a quick ass DPS queue. What are you queuing for? Are you like queuing for alliance raids or something?
No, one of the other party members withdrew. Ah, fuck!
Yeah, that definitely tickled my pickles, so to speak. I needed that laugh. That was JoCat. Never change. Never change. I hope he does. There are so many jobs in Final Fantasy. I don't think he's going to do it. I don't know what he's planning on doing, but I hope he at least breaks it down to like melee DPS, ranged physical, and ranged magical DPS. I haven't really been keeping track of his plans for this series, but I do hope that he at least breaks down the DPS. I don't know if he's going to break down every single job, because that's a lot of jobs. Yeah, 4 tanks, soon to be 4 healers, 4 melee, 3 range physical, 3 magical, I guess 4 if you count blue mage. So that's a lot. So and I know he has mentioned before that he the JoCat personality is something that he kind of wants to it's a part of him now, but I think he's starting to accept it more. But I know there were a couple of things in the past where he's like he is known for his JoCat personality and he kind of wants to move away from it a little bit. So I can completely understand if he doesn't want to devote the time to do a crap guide to every single job in the game. But yeah, great video. I'll leave a description in below to his channel as well as this video. If you guys play Final Fantasy or D&D or Monster Hunter, his crap guides are great. His humor is great, and his streams are a lot of fun too. I try to catch him every now and then when I have time. But he's just a funny guy. I like him a lot. But yeah, that's it. Catch you guys later.